And you're back with the Working Brother.
Hi.
Welcome to Wyatt Lim from Defense Politics Asia, also known as Defense Politics Asia. And I think that is one of the crucial success factors to his subscription count so far. Welcome. How are you doing? And what is your view of the new year so far?
So, hello everyone. I'm Wyatt from Defense Politics Asia, and Happy New Year to you guys. If you haven't heard me say New Year to you, so so far so good, I guess. Uh, so on the DPA side, we made a lot of changes over the New Year. So hopefully things worked out in this year.
Excellent. I see that spread out your channel into DPA War, the analytics
Yeah,
channel, the in real life talks with the live streams. You're like doing,
yeah.
branching out
I'm greedy.
into. You're greedy. Sure, that's
But
maybe
so
one way to say it.
So the reasoning for all this is because the main trigger was because I was doing the Ukraine war updates. It's on a near daily basis, and when it's in on a near daily basis, basically important topics that maybe is a conversation that could last months get hidden away. For example, I may be talking about I used to do the videos covering the energy crisis, and it's an important topic, and probably this video could have continued to be spreading for months, for at least for weeks. But because I'm covering the Ukraine war on a daily basis, the video just get covered away by all these Ukraine war updates. And the way how the YouTube algorithm works is that they will promote mostly your newer videos. Your older videos get very limited coverage. So imagine if I do one important video. Let's say if I do a documentary, maybe a 1 hour documentary, I spend uh, hundreds of thousands of dollars to produce it. For example, although I didn't do that yet, but
Hmm.
if I do this video and then next to it there will be like 10 days of sit reps or
Yep.
summaries for the Ukraine war. This entire video would never make back the money. That's the problem, and
Yep.
which is also the reason why I have to create multiple deep channels, because then I can actually put the right content in the right channels so that the YouTube will promote it as far as it can. And also the audiences that are maybe not interested in the Ukraine war but interested in the geopolitics can just follow the geopolitics one, which is the main channel. And then people who just like to look at death and destruction, they can go over to the DPA war channel. And
Yep.
people who like to discuss and talk about
Hello
opinions and
everyone, this is
to share their opinions or their mind, or to sharpen their minds with like-minded people, they can go to the DPA IRL channel. So yeah, it's just that kind of purpose. Similarly, that's why there's a DPA gaming channel, which is why where all the games, I play games with my community, uh, it will be there, so that it doesn't blend into all these important topics or serious topics. Then suddenly there's a game content come out. That's not very nice in terms of the YouTube experience, I guess.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
is also which is why there's so many channels. But I actually cannot cope. I'm just one person, so
And when you started out with the original Ukraine part, did you expect for it to go on this long?
no.
Was your goal to make it about Ukraine and have that as your focus, or were you just hoping to start with Ukraine and then continue? Because your website and channel and everything is called Defense Politics Asia, so Asia is a
Yeah.
large place, all the way from where you are to where I am in Serbia. From and a little bit beyond you is also Asia,
Mhm.
so there's a lot to talk about within the
Yeah.
title of your channel or your website.
Yeah.
So
Which I hardly cover.
what would you say you're missing out on? One of my favorite videos of yours is that video that shows the bases in the South
South
China
China Sea.
Sea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like
and
you
that was a
know,
very casual video.
yeah, it's very in depth in the sense that like you know many people have heard about all these things,
Mhm.
and you've done similar videos, you know, on the Nagorno-Karabakh issue and like other areas. Like
Correct.
you started doing Syria recently, haven't you?
Yeah, tried to. So I supposed to do a video, but it has been like a month already. So which is why the Ukraine war is very intense. To cover to do all this mapping that seeing on the screen now, it takes like 4 or 5 hours a day just to map all this information down. And these are information that is open source. Not everyone can go and look at it. Especially the most of the information is coming from the two Ministry of Defense. So but the thing, putting it on the map makes it easier to track whether anyone is lying. Because
Yeah.
the front line, if you suddenly report something that is not on the front line, then it's obvious that information there's something wrong about it. So coming back to the earlier point where you asked me, what was my expectation, about the Ukraine war, was that the Defense Politics Asia is my personal uh, interest is actually more towards geopolitics. So in the website, actually, we used to write articles. I used to have a partner. Now he's no longer with me. He writes
Mm-hmm.
more on the military side of things. So I write more on the geopolitics side of things. So and the Ukraine war started, and I was a fan of actually there is Ukrainian news media that maps all the news on the map. What's it called? The map. The name just got off. So there's this news channel, a news media that they maps everything on the map. And
I don't know.
but
I don't follow them. You're the only mapper other
so
than
they got
military
famous
summary.
for. So they got famous when they are covering the situation in Ukraine, and then after that they started to cover Syria war, and then that's how they got very famous and become a news media. They also covering the Ukraine war as well. So no, I just like the way how they present the news, because you can actually see where the things is happening. So I was always thinking about doing that. I did that a bit for the Myanmar conflict, the civil war, little bit, but it was very painful. Then I stopped because I didn't get the right tool for it. Then the Ukraine war came about. Then it was very confusing, especially on the first day of war. Nobody know what the hell is happening. There's a lot of rumors going around. So I decided that why not just map it? And then I discovered the Google My Map platform, which basically you can map create your own mapping on the Google Map platform. So I started mapping it. Then I was thinking, because I was wondering what to do with the YouTube channel for the DPA, because I know that YouTube could represent a revenue stream for Defense Politics Asia, because the website itself don't really make much money, and to get people to become a patron on Patreon will be very difficult. So I was thinking that YouTube still represents the best way to earn revenue, but I didn't know what content to do. When the war started, I only have 20 subscribers. So I thought, no, okay, I'm going to do the report. Let's do a report based on the mapping that I've created, where I'm tracking the war. And I just upload. Then then after that, I realized that I can't really edit the video because there's so much information. So I just basically just I just basically just record. I just
Yep.
talk straight through, maybe 20 minutes. For most of the videos in the earlier days was like very long, 40 minutes long, because
I
there's so much
remember.
things happening. Yeah, it was because there's just way too much things happening. So there isn't a choice. People always tell me to make it shorter, but I can't. So I just started to upload. Then suddenly, it got traction, and then it started to spread like wildfire, and then the channel just exploded. And then it started. Then I managed to monetize the channel, and then it started to bring in revenue. Which then, for the first time, the company is now able to have a revenue stream, which then I can actually build on.
And
Yeah, so that's how.
after how many subscribers did YouTube let you do that? Like how long did it take, more
Uh,
or less?
it for YouTube is 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 viewing hours. So
All
I
right.
I managed to monetize around less than a month into the war. So because by the 1 month point, I get already like no more than 10,000 subscribers already. So it was a
Yeah, yeah,
massive
yeah.
massive growth. So it was awesome. Because in the past, I was thinking, oh, if I can get just $200-300 per month, I'll be like so happy from the YouTube. So then after that, it turned out that by the second or third month of the war, the YouTube is already giving me a full-time income as much, pretty much. So, which is actually matching what I was doing on my own professional work. So that was good. Then it was not good because after that YouTube suppressed the channel, and then I don't make
And
that much money anymore until
what
today.
when you say your professional job, tell the audience what you do. I know, but you
Oh,
can.
so professionally, I do graphic design branding as my main business. That is the business that have been paying my bills and feeding my family.
When
And
are you
the
going to make a GIF? When are you going to make a DPA approved
GIF,
nice scope
yeah,
GIF
you can do it.
or
You do it for
GIF?
me. Nice quote.
Nice scope, nice scope. No, but
Yeah.
like you do these things. Shouldn't it take you like 5 minutes to make a GIF or GIF?
I'm not very familiar with doing creating GIF. That's the thing. So
So
although this is
you
my
you
profession,
do still things like pictures and visual art in
yeah,
that sense, not video editing. And
yeah, you can do the animated GIF, right? So I can actually do it. It's not very difficult per se. It's just like I got so many things I need to do.
but the
So
thing is, like
so
people can save the GIF and then they can share it and put it other
I
places, and
just,
you can
I'm
put
just waiting for
DPA
people to do it for me.
link.
I'm just waiting for people to just do it for me because there are people who
Okay.
did it a bit, who did do a bit, they put it on the Discord. So I think the nice code one haven't no one did it yet. So for those the viewers who do not know what's the idea about the nice code, it was that when I was talking on Twitter or on the YouTube channel, so people do the comments or when people replies to my tweets. Sometimes people just don't believe what you say. Then sometimes they just reply that you are coping. You are just trying to feel better about it. Maybe something is bad, but you're just trying to say to make it sound good. So people say stop coping, or you're coping, or you're uh, nice cope. They're coping with the situation. So I thought that, wow, one day I just dawned on me, that could be like the perfect reply to literally everything. You can say anything you want, like the earth is flat, or no, the earth is round. I would just say,
Nice
nice
scope.
quote. I will give a
Nice
salute.
scope.
Nice quote. Yeah. Then I thought like, this will be like the universal DPA community, salute to each other, nice quote, nice quote. People just say nice quote, and then it doesn't need to mean anything. Like people can just like, just end the conversation and that's it.
Yeah.
Nobody will feel hurt because it's a salute. So because if when I do it on Twitter, so I made a joke on Twitter after I decided on this. I say, okay, I guess just gonna reply to every single tweet or replies to me with the word nice quote. Every single reply for 24 hours. After like maybe 4 to 6 hours, I think I have to stop it because people are getting so offended.
It was
Like I
masterful.
do it to the pro-Russians, to the pro-Ukrainians. Everybody was so triggered. I was like, they say something very rational. I'll just say nice quote. Then they just cannot. Then they just a lot of replies below it. They just cannot take it. It was so funny, but I realized I cannot keep doing it for the full 24 hours. I think I will offend too many people. So I was like, okay, okay. Then
Going.
I have to keep putting
Let's
the tweet and
let's
just
go
say
back.
this is just an experiment.
Let's go back from the cope and go back to the original subject that I interrupted you from,
Sure.
which is your work. So you're a graphic artist basically, and before that you were
Yep,
military. Is
blender.
that correct?
Yeah, I was a professional soldier for 6 years
All right.
in the Singapore Armed Forces.
And in Singapore, do they have military conscription? Like, is it mandatory
Yes, we
military?
have a conscription. Yeah. During
Yeah.
my time, it was 2.5 years for every guy. So if you are not in the military, they'll send you to the police or the civil defense. Civil defense basically is the fire department
Hmm.
or the or rescue service
Yeah,
basically in other
emergency
countries what they
services. Yeah,
call it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in Singapore we call it civil defense.
Mm-hmm.
So but civil defense and police force tend to be much smaller. Uh, Most of the guys actually still go to the military. So during my time it was 2.5 years. Halfway through, they they come up with a new policy to change it to 2 years. So now every Singaporean guy have to serve 2 years. So that half a year makes a difference. I guess it helps. But for me, it doesn't matter because my rationale then was I don't want to waste 2 years, 2.5 years in the army. So I signed on to become a regular soldier because that would mean that my national service time is not wasted. I'm actually earning money.
Yeah,
so
yep.
so it's work. Basically, it's work. And then I was in the army for 6 years because the contract was between 6 to 10 years during my time. So
Nice.
maximum was 10 years. Then you can leave at 6 years. That's the bond. So that's what I did. So, but for regular soldiers, you have to serve at least 5 years during my days because for professional soldiers, your national service as a professional times two. So people need to serve 2.5 years. If you become a professional, your obligation is times two, 5 years. So that's the interesting thing.
So when you were doing that professionally, you were studying also the graphical art stuff, or that was like a hobby
I
and
studied
you
before.
oh you studied
I studied
before.
before that.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I'm actually trained in digital media design. I have game in specialization in games design. So
Oh, nice.
then yeah,
So if I
which
want
is
to make a
also
video
one of
game, I
my
should consult you.
you can't because I can't do programming. So but my dream is actually to do my own computer game some days. Like I say, I'm greedy. I want to
Th-
do everything.
There's a lot of people
Yeah.
that I know with that. We should talk about that offline sometime.
Yeah. So tentatively, the focus now is Defense Politics Asia because until the whole company can self-run as a media organization, then I wouldn't have time to do anything else. So tentatively, that's the focus. So hopefully this will turn
And
out
now it's just
well.
you. It's like a one-man show doing everything. All the
Yeah,
Twitter, all
most
the Instagram, all the writing, all
yeah
the
yeah
website, all the videos, all the editing, all the graphics,
yeah.
everything.
So I have been everything is me. Only lately I got one or two guys to help me with video editing for the open mic. So
This
we have an
is
open mic which is
when you
basically
say
the
when you say recently, you mean like within the last month or so?
1 month. Yeah, really
Yeah.
within the last 1 month. So 1 month, 2 months. So I got two guys from the community to help out. I pay them to do the video editing for the open mic. So basically, open DPA open mic is actually where we have a open Zoom session. Put it that way, open Zoom session where anyone within the community can actually log in and to discuss, just chit chat, uh, and and these sessions go on for too long, like 3 4 hours, five
Yeah,
hours
yeah, yeah.
and then I can't really have the time to actually edit all this video myself. So I thought that I need help. So
Or
I
even
get
to
people to
review it basically, or even to review it
yeah.
again.
So I got two guys to help to edit. So to do the clips, I also did one of them myself. So yeah, the problem with time because I'm juggling two full time stuff. So DPA is already a full time commitment, and then I have my own design work, which is another full time commitment. So basically, I have no life. My daily schedule is just sleep, work, eat, work, sleep. Yeah, that's what I do every day. I just that I have no life. I hardly go out. At least
But
when I do make time to go out. So when I do go out, then there's no updates for the Ukraine war. So that's how bad, how much time it takes to do the Ukraine war updates.
yeah, but no, you do it. You do an incredible job considering it's just you, and you give updates basically every day. You know, like there's a maximum of 2 3 days that you, like you say, go out with the family and you tell people like, sorry guys, I'm gonna be
Yeah, yeah,
gone.
yeah.
See
I
you
have no,
later.
yeah, no choice. I have sometimes I do inform because this and the thing is about the Ukraine war is that I cannot really not report more than 3 days. All the updates become even when I have to do a report for 3 days straight, that is too much work. There is way too much intel and information and posts that I have to go through from my trusted sources, uh, and that would take like stupid amount of hours. So I prefer to do it daily as much as I can, so that it's not so painful. Like even sometimes I do 2 days, so I maybe I skip one days. If I do, so I do a summary for both days. Well, that is already so much work to do. 3 days is so painful. 3 days is just so painful. So there was once I was because I was in November. I had a football tournament that I'm co-organizing. So I was away for the whole week. When I came back, that oh my god, I have to like the update took me
And when that
super long.
happens, do you like I find myself sometimes on Telegram, especially like 2 3 days you don't check a group and it's got like 200 posts, so like do you
Yeah.
skip to the last post and then scroll up a couple, or do you actually
Uh,
have to go through and like check for everything? How do you like how
for my trusted sources, those
Yeah.
that means the sources that I cannot miss anything,
Mhm.
because I trust their information that much.
Yeah.
I go through all. So those are like the primary source. Then I have the secondary sources which I it's okay to skip. Uh, there are also some sources which I realize I have to drop. Like there's a channel called Kernel Casa. I just remove it from my source because they share too much from Riba, which is another pro-Russian source, which I realized that is pointless because they post so much. Like one day they can 200 over 300 posts, and I realized that I don't really quote much from them, so I have to drop them. The main one is actually the defense, the official government sources from
Yeah.
Russia and from Ukraine. These are I will go through everything, for sure, 100%. Then Ryba, right? Ryba is the pro-Russian source, which is actually, although
Ribar.
they are pro-Russian, but they are actually
Ribar.
or Riba, no,
It means it
but they
means
are
fisherman.
very very good.
It means
Yeah, fishermen.
fisherman.
They are very good. They are very very good. So despite they are pro-Russian, they're actually quite neutral when they actually do the reporting per se.
They
Like they actually
recently,
very
I don't know, I think it was you who posted the meme that they posted about like their whole team that was like cartoony.
yeah.
Yeah.
So because they cannot show the face, so they
Yeah.
actually use some anime drawing to represent
Anime,
them.
there you go.
Which
Yeah.
so so you can also see the difference in terms of resources. They have like more than 10 people. I think 14 or 19 people on the team. I only have one person. So I'm still
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
far away from them in terms of what we can do. Because if I have like 10 people, God, crazy, how much things we can do. So slowly build towards that is not a big problem. Then yeah, so if I can share my sources, Ukraine Defense Ministry, Russian Defense Ministry, Ryba. I cover War Gonzo as well. War Gonzo, sometimes you have to take a pinch of salt about what they say, because they are really pro-Russian. Like they are not neutral at all. They are really pro-Russian. Ryba is still somewhat neutral, even though they are pro-Russian. And then Deep State UA, which is a pro-Ukrainian source. The problem with Deep State UA is that they have this mentality that they cannot say things uh, too early, because they feel that they will actually interfere with the Ukrainian military operation. They don't want to tell the Russians anything that might destroy the operational secrecy on the Ukrainian side, which Ryba and War Gonzo don't really give a damn about. They just report everything, I guess. Yeah. So
Yeah.
although I do think that the D State UA is overthinking it a bit, unless they get the information from their sources on the ground. Then yeah, maybe they should keep it a secret for a week. But if they are like things that is already reported by the Russians, then it's pointless to keep the information. But they have their own way of mapping. For them, they say that they must have sources from the ground or photos or videos to confirm whether a place is captured, which I respect. Which I
Yeah. Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because I don't do that, because I basically reporting from all sides,
The
and
way
we're
you
trying to
do it,
get
I
the
think the way you
maximum
do it
picture.
is the best option, because you look at all the sides and you see where like they overlap, and you don't even say that you're sure. You say that most probably we're somewhere in between these two stories, and you just put
Yeah.
it on a map to make it look like you do.
Yep. That is actually how news media should operate, and that's in my opinion, and that's also how
You're a
any form of
conspiracy
intelligence
theorist. You're a
or
conspiracy
any
theorist.
intelligence agency should operate. So, for example, whatever, like some think tanks or whatever, or like the UK Defense Ministry or ISW, Institute of the Study of War, like sometimes their reports is like there is a certain things, a certain things that you cannot really verify. And how can you be sure? They make it sound like it's confirmed. Things is like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't really like it, because it's a bit like you read some of the mainstream media and they just say things and then it's like you're being forced to believe it. Like I don't really like that, and which is why I don't do that. I usually just say no. Most probably, this is this. This is it, or this site reported that this thing, or there is fighting reported in this place. I will totally ignore whatever the adjective that they use
Yeah.
within their report, because all these are just maybe propaganda, or maybe it's just they're trying to assert a certain narrative, or they're trying to make it sound better than it is. For me, it's just fighting. It's just fighting. There's nothing. There's no big deal about oh, you killing 100 soldiers. If you don't capture the town, you're killing 10,000 soldiers also make no difference. You have to
Yeah.
capture the ground, which is why my reporting is very different from a lot of other people or other YouTubers. I know some other YouTubers also reports like all the peripheral things that is happening around, like certain generals maybe have been killed.
So
Yeah,
would you say
I
you
don't do
deal
that.
more with the strategic picture than the tactical?
Yeah, the big picture. Because other things is anything else can be propaganda. Literally everything else can be propaganda, and it could be misinformation. Like how many Russian generals has reportedly been killed. Then only for them to reappear in a live event like a few weeks later. But the people who are not in keeping track of it will believe it, and they will forever think that that few generals that they don't even remember their names has already died, but actually they are alive. Similarly, just like the entire premise that this war is meant to last only a week,
Yeah.
or 3 days. No, the pro-Ukrainian side always say no. The So how's your 3 day war or 1 week war going after 9 months, or after like the Russian side has never ever said that ever before. They had never said that this is going to be a 3 day war or 1 week war. It
Yeah,
was
that's
never
true.
never the case. I covered it right from the beginning. The only people that have been saying it is the pro-Ukrainian side. But you see
Or the
the
West, we should
misinformation
say, yeah. They're not
on the
even
West, on the
Ukrainian. The
newspapers.
Ukrainians got that narrative from the West. It was the West who was saying, like the
Yeah.
military specialists in the West were saying that Russia is planning to do a blitzkrieg, or like a 3 day, 5 day, 7 day, 10 day.
I
It's
mean,
gonna end by
they are
12
not.
days.
No, but the thing is, they are not wrong per se. But from my opinion, of course, the Russians are doing a blitz, in a sense. They are trying to to win the war in the shortest time possible. That doesn't mean that is the only objective or the only way this war is going to be conducted.
Yeah,
The No military operates on a single plan. There will always be a backup plan, and a backup plan for the backup plan, and a backup plan
yeah,
for the backup plan. So
yeah,
this of course, the first objective is always to end the war as soon as you can, which is what the Russians tried to do. They rushed Kiev, but the Russians have never said it's going to be a 3 day war or a 1 week war, because no sane guy will ever say that.
somebody
It's just
somebody
not a
once
tenable thing to do.
I was discussing this a couple of months back, and somebody once said to me, like one of my friends, he was like, "Don't you think that the Russians, like it was around the time that they took down one of those bridges that was important for a Russian advance that the Ukrainians took down before they pulled out, and or the dam or something like that." And
So many.
yeah, yeah. And the point is that the guy was like, "Don't you think that the Russians have a plan for not only like going across that river without a bridge, but going across every single river on the way to wherever they need to go without any of the bridges in Ukraine, like a plan X or plan Z?"
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like
I
worst case scenario that they have already planned out, like like you're saying,
I'm not too sure, whether the Russians actually plan so much ahead, because because it, because if it does felt like Russia rushed into the war, it doesn't felt like it's a planned war, like a really planned offensive, like the Georgian war. The Georgian war felt more planned. The Ukraine wars felt a lot more like it was rushed into it. Like the Russia just they have the forces around. They are doing the threatening move. Then suddenly they just decided, okay, we need to move. They just went in. So they might be a plan, but the plan is not that detailed. So to say that like they have a option or a solution for every single river or bridge destroyed. I don't think so, because that might also not be planned at the highest level. It might be planned in the lower level, maybe at the battalion level,
Yeah.
or maybe the brigade level. And if the brigade commander is shit, is lousy,
Yeah.
then they're going to just keep stopping. You're just going to keep stopping and then get
Mm.
bombarded. And that's probably what happened as well. The Russians are not uh, is not as proficient as we would like to imagine them to be. They're not, although they are still superior uh, to the Ukrainian side, seemingly, but not by much. And the Ukrainians actually balance the power by having a more uh, accurate weapons from the western side. And for example, anti-tank weapons that have been working pretty well. Uh, Artillery pieces like the M777 that came later and the HIMARS, all these are more accurate than the standard Soviet era artillery systems. So they try to balance their odds, but so far, even the Ukrainians themselves are saying that the Russians still have the superior firepower and manpower now. Like for the past month is the first time that the Russians actually have superior manpower as when compared in certain fronts compared to the Ukrainians.
Yeah.
So anything can happen. Let's see. The Ukrainians have proven themselves to be really resourceful, and they have been able to fight the Russians for a long time. I don't think many countries can claim to be able to do that. So kudos to the Ukrainians, like really for sure.
But do you think that this could have gone the same way without so much support from NATO and without all the like foreign mercenaries and you
Oh
know
no,
surprises? Let's put it that way, or like X
without the Western
factors.
support, no, without the Western support, Ukraine would have fallen half a year ago, because the most of their heavy equipment, most of their air force was gone within the first 3 months. At least half their heavy equipment like the tanks, everything is gone by the first 3 months. The air force is almost entirely gone. Like there's one whole month that we don't even see a single report or so of any Ukrainian aircraft getting shot down. That's abnormal. Like so, which means that the Ukrainian Air Force was pretty spent at that time, and they're preserving whatever they have, maybe for reinforcement or something. So, the Western support is extremely important for the Ukrainians to continue the fight. Like, how do you know that? Is that whatever equipment that was reportedly given to the Ukrainians, you will start to see this equipment being deployed in the front. You can actually see evidence of it, like videos or photos or video or photos of this equipment getting destroyed at the front. And this is just evidence that the Ukrainians are lacking many of these heavy equipments. If not, you will not push something so new all the way to the front immediately within weeks, within 1 or 2 weeks. Um, so it does shows that especially during half a year ago, the Ukrainians are desperate for heavy equipment, which means many of their heavy equipment has been destroyed. So this is how I analyze some of the things. It may not be very clear for people who don't cover it on a daily basis or look at all these things on a daily basis, which is where I have a unique advantage. It's not that I'm better; it's just that I just spend more time on it. Yeah. So
You're in too deep basically, and like there's no way back. you you you
I,
you
I,
you
I
you have to
it felt like a
continue.
duty now. It felt like a commitment now. Like I felt like I cannot stop, because it seems like so many people depends on me for the information, and so this is what pushes me to try to continue to report as much as I can. It's it has becoming like a duty of sorts. So I'm doing it, but at the same time I'm trying to make sure that there's revenue for it, so that my time can be paid for, because I still have a personal life. I have commitment to my family and my wife. I have to buy a house. In Singapore, you don't buy a house, you buy apartments.
Yeah,
Only
from
millionaires
what I
buy
know in
houses.
Singapore, you buy the lease for 99 years or something like that, 80
Yes, public
years.
housing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
public housing also very expensive. So we only buy apartments. Only millionaires buy buy houses. So
Mhm.
landed houses are very, 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 very expensive in Singapore.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get my own place. So my current place is my mom's place. So I'm still trying to save money for it. DPA's the channel exploding is a godsend because that effectively almost doubled my income. So that helps. But moving forward, it's important that the DPA continue to grow, which is why the revenue is very important. Because if DPA don't grow, then I won't be able to cover much things. This Ukraine war can last years, like the Syrian war. Like the Syrian war, the civil war, it lasted way longer than I thought it would. So,
Yeah.
so for
It's
this
it's
Ukraine war,
it's not
coming back
really
to
a
the much
civil
earlier
war.
question, you asked me. I think you asked me, how long do I think the war will go for this Ukraine war. To be honest, I have no idea. From being someone from Singapore, the biggest geopolitical threat is China. It's not Russia. Russia is way
Mhm.
too far away for us to care about.
Yeah.
So my worry then was when the war started, or
Hmm.
when the war started, and Russia was rushing, they're capturing so much land in a short time. My worry was, uh, please don't let Russia have win this war too fast, too quickly, because this will embolden China to think that they can do it for Taiwan as well. And and for the first few days, it does look like Russia is really going to win the war, like very, 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 very quickly. So for me, I'm just mapping whatever I can find to where the Russians are now. No, I don't know where they do know. Nobody knows where exactly the Russians are. I'm just mapping whatever I can. And at those times, I don't even have Telegram. Like I mean, I don't follow any Telegram channels. I basically get all my information from Twitter. So I have to try to search all the different town names and try to find as much information that I can from Twitter. So earlier days was much more difficult, and I
I
don't
gotta
even
I gotta
know
ask you a
where they.
question. Considering you came from Twitter and went to Telegram, I've never been to Twitter, thank God. And I got a question for, like, maybe there's viewers who are not aware of Telegram intimately. How would you compare Telegram to Twitter and other social media, as both like a news source and as like a communications application?
Mm, I think Telegram, Twitter, and Telegram actually co- can coexist very well. They are not a replacement for each other. Um, Twitter allows communication with people that is outside your bubble or outside your channel. So, which is the key point about Twitter. So, Telegram is much harder. Your channel can't really grow without um, without any other social media helping to push to advertise your channel.
Hmm.
If you expect the Telegram channel to grow on its own, is impossible. It's nearly impossible. You can post every day, the channel will never grow. You still need someone to share it for you. Maybe you can get shares within Telegram if people are using Telegram.
Yeah.
Like if you are in Russia, Russia use a lot of Telegram, so maybe that helps. They share in their chat
Mhm.
groups, or maybe other channels share your posts. Yeah, maybe. But your first step, you're not going to get your first step because nobody knows about you, so
Yeah.
nobody will share about you on Telegram. So that's where other social media platforms are very important, like Twitter. At least you tweet, people will know about you. Then over time, people always see your name, they'll start to follow you.
So
So
I should open a
yeah,
Twitter before I upload this, is what you're saying.
yeah, you should. So actually the same thing happens for YouTube channel as well.
Hmm.
The the YouTube, although YouTube do push videos for the YouTubers, but it's going to be very limited if it depends on YouTube's own algorithm to push your channel. The fastest way is still to use other platforms to gain traffic into your video, and that will help the video to grow faster, because YouTube will see a lot of traffic coming from outside, and then they will see, oh, this is a interesting content, so they will actually push it more.
Yeah.
So so the trick about even YouTube channel is that you have to have outside traffic coming in. So which
Hmm.
means that you need to literally build a lot of platforms everywhere. Be it Twitter, Telegram.
To
I
like
think Telegram is
cross-reference
not
each
that
other,
much.
basically, to cross-promote each other.
Yeah, yeah, to cross promote.
Yeah.
So, and they all of them, all the different platforms have very different people. They are all very different audiences. So it helps, I guess. So Telegram on its own is very hard to spread things. I would say, unless you have, it's more like a fandom thing. It's like if you have a channel and then you have your set of followers, they are your fans, essentially. And if you push them to YouTube, then you get traffic to YouTube. But on its own, it doesn't grow that easily. That's my opinion. Unless you're Raiba or you're Wogonzo, where a lot of people just want to share content. Yeah, for my
Yeah.
side, I don't post a lot of exclusive things on Telegram, so I don't think it grows much.
Yeah.
It's really people on YouTube going to subscribe on Telegram. That seems to be more of the case. Whereas Twitter, maybe half the Twitter is people who follow me on YouTube. The other half just found I sharing all my YouTube links and channels, the videos, and they find, hey, this guy is talking about Ukraine war, so they follow me. So something like this. So
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
every platform is so different. They all have their own very specific behaviors. So the most useless one is Facebook. That is the most useless one.
I haven't
Facebook,
logged into my Facebook in a while. Let's move on from
because
social
Facebook have no
media.
reach.
Yeah, let's
Huh?
move on. They censor everybody. Everybody censors in their own way,
Yeah,
but
they are
Facebook is the
destroying their own
king.
product.
Yeah.
So
Let's
I
let's
have
let's
no
move
idea.
on to the future. Tell us about your plans for Defense Politics Asia. I am an
Okay.
avid subscriber and I have the notification bell on and I always watch your videos, so I
Thank
know.
you so much.
And I share them often. I even use them as a reference sometimes when I need to know how far away things are. Um, and I like your style. Like the way you present things is very open, direct, and often humorous, with Shaoling and other inside jokes. Shaoling is a joke because, like in one of his earlier videos, he misspoke, and it became a regular thing because the audience liked it so much.
Yeah.
But in
So
any case,
because
tell
there
us.
was
Okay, tell us. Yeah.
so I was just, in case people are confused about the shelling, because there was a point of time I was reporting about the cross-border shelling, the means the artillery or mortars hitting each other between the Russian and Ukrainian border. So I just report all this cross-border shelling, and then people misheard it, or maybe the YouTube transcribed the caption wrongly. They put Shaolin, the Shaolin
Yeah.
temple, so it started to become a joke from there. As for the joking in the video, it was never my plan to make it humorous. No, it's just that after 3 weeks, I think
Nice
3 4 weeks
cope.
into the
Nice
into
cope.
the
That's what it is, man.
report,
It's
right?
it's nice cope.
So so in the first month or so, I was reporting daily, almost daily. So it got so boring. There was I just started to talk rubbish. I just just say some very lame stuff, and then it started to caught on, and people really like the humorous style. And but most of the videos, most of the reports are still very serious. It's just that at times I just put in some jokes here and there. Yeah,
It's good. It's
and
good. It's okay to
plans.
have the jokes, man. The jokes keep it lighthearted. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very very dry subject. So humor does help to for people to digest a bit the all this very dry information. Um, as for the plan for 2023, so
Let me
I
let
have
me
multiple
first let me
channels.
first let me
Oh,
first bring up people a little up to date with this like video in the background that's going on. Maybe some of our viewers or other people have not seen your channel. So like on his channel, Wyatt goes through daily and goes through this active map that he described earlier that Google allows him to make himself, and he edits based on the information that he finds. And this map used to be public in the sense that anybody could go to Defense Politics Asia/Ukraine and could check out what the latest updates that he put in are without even going to his videos, which he recently decided to make exclusive for his captains paywall, something like that. I don't know.
Yes,
Tell us
yes.
about it. Tell us about it.
So earlier in the earlier days, the map was actually available on the website. So it's free. People can actually go and verify all the information that I say on my videos. So it's more like a credibility thing to make sure that I'm not talking rubbish. Anyone can actually just go to the map, look at the sources. Everything is verified by some other sources. But but I have been around for so long already. There's no more needs to really prove myself per se. And also it started to have a problem where um, there was one YouTuber who used the map. I actually thanked him for like using the map, and he did not reply, and I got triggered. I was like, why are you so rude? I didn't say that to him, but I was like, he's the only YouTuber who never replied the thank, and I thought this is a problem, man, because
I feel your
because
pain.
the yeah because like it's one thing to not credit where the map come from. It's okay. But I go in to say thank, for featuring the map, and you don't reply. Oh, that's a different thing altogether already. That's
Yeah.
being rude. So, so that is the first trigger. Then after that, then as you can see on the website, there's hardly any Google ads. There's very few advertisements on the website, and a lot of people seems to be not using the map from the website. They actually bookmark the Google Map itself, the link to the Google Map
Mhm.
itself,
Mhm.
because you can actually open the old map, right? And you want to make it full screen, you actually go to the Google website, the Google
All
Maps
right.
website
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for it. And a lot of people actually
Go
bookmark that, and they never go to
directly
the
there. Yeah. Yeah.
correct. Then they never go to the website, and which means I can't even earn the few cents, right? Very few cents of
Traffic.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no traffic to. That means the traffic is actually very suppressed, and that is actually and for the maps every day I do is 4 5 hours. It's really a lot of work, and the channel the war has gone on for so long. The it doesn't seem The revenue doesn't seem to be growing. In fact, it's reducing. So there's a need to keep up this. Then we need a different source of income to make sure that I can continue to cover this, because I cannot wait for the income to dry up before I start to do this. So I need
Yeah.
to do earlier. So which is why I decided that okay, by New Year, 2023, let's do it. Let's put it behind the Patreon, so that at least the people on Patreon really got something exclusive. Because previously, people who support me on Patreon also, I don't really have something. I don't have a lot of things for them as well. So, the map, having a map, paying a bit more for the map, I think it helps to, actually helps to fund the coverage. Then no need to worry about YouTube suppression, because YouTube has been stealing money. They have like they can demonetize videos from a few days ago, just take out all the money away, and they just make up an excuse
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They just make up an excuse, and then they say, "Oh, it's because of this reason." So no, we take out the money. There's like, and you cannot verify the information. They will never give you the data,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah. Yeah.
sounds entirely nonsensical, because there is so many ways to resolve it, whatever problem that they say, but they don't. They just take the money, and I'm not sure if it's part of censorship or suppression or whatever. I do not know. And it represents a danger, because if DPA were to grow very big and I have to become full time, that means I'm going to drop my other business. I can't, because the YouTube revenue is unstable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at any one time, YouTube can just take away all your money, or they demonetize the entire channel.
And
They can do anything they.
what about alternate platforms like Rumble and the other one?
There's not much money in there. Most of
No.
the viewers are actually still on YouTube. So
Yeah.
that's the main problem. Which is why I kept hoping that Elon Musk on Twitter will launch a competing video service on Twitter. I think that will help. But until that day comes, YouTube still represents uh, the best market for content creators
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to even make a living. So so that's the reality. Which is why like for example, I moved all my videos, my reporting now to DPA War channel. So the main channel now I'm going to reserve it mostly for geopolitics as much as I
Mhm.
can. But somehow the revenue is currently only half. despite having the same views. I'm still trying to figure out what's the reason for that. I'm going to go through all the data because I do data analysis and see what's the difference between then and now. Why is there a revenue change? So yeah, so all these things factor in. Yeah. So for those that know, you subscribe to my map on Patreon. I
Yeah.
don't really make money out of it because my revenue actually dropped on YouTube as well. So it's just only making up for what I've lost
Yeah.
to just to maintain the certain level of revenue. So
No, it's
these are
like
the
you said,
challenges.
especially with YouTube, changing its regulations every week or month, or at least every 2-3 months, and deciding what they want to block and not block, and
Maybe
keep
they
revenue
don't
on.
share, so they don't share any information.
Mm.
So from my observation was that on every 2 weeks they will actually have a new algorithm for every YouTuber. So for 2 weeks you can have like a lot of growth. Then halfway through the month, suddenly the your growth suddenly just tapered down. Then then suddenly you cannot get subscribers. Then 2 weeks later maybe you can go up again. And then if let's say you got shadow ban or you got like suppressed, like I go for my channel, it went on for like almost half a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I grow to like 30,000-40,000 people subscribers to in like how long? 3 months, 4 months. And it took me for another half a year to gain the next 10,000.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how could you have a hyper growth in the early part and then not continue to grow in a at least in a curve, right? It makes sense. For me, it's a hyper growth, like just
Yeah.
plateau.
Yeah. Plateau.
So
Like they cut you off. Yeah. Yeah.
and something is wrong because all the other YouTube channels that's covering the same thing, they're doing their own mapping, they're reporting the same thing, but most of them are super pro Ukrainian. They are
Yeah.
having hyper growth. They are growing way faster than me, and they are many of them. I believe they are not inspired by me. I think I guess because the way how I make it sound seems so easy. I can gain a channel, grow a channel so quickly. Maybe it inspired quite a lot of people to do the reporting themselves because they are also reading the sources every day. They
Yeah.
have their own opinion, and
Yeah.
then maybe they tell me, and I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
then they thought that maybe they can do their own things, and I
Yeah.
encourage people to do their own things. So a number of them they so there's a number of mappers on YouTube. They were only like half of my channel, or even lesser than that. They are very small.
Mm-hmm.
Then but they're having a decent growth rate. Then suddenly the Ukrainian offensive in September happens. Then they are all hyper growth, hyper growth. Yes,
Yeah.
and during September I was still in suppression, so I was not able to grow much. I grew. There still increase, but it was like still very suppressed. It was only until the very end of September that I get out of the jail, then I managed to grow faster. And then
Considering
2 weeks later,
considering you're
I go to
discussing
jail again.
YouTube conspiracy theories
No, this
about
is not conspiracy theory. I can tell you 100% is happening.
no,
You know
no,
why?
it's
Because
Russian
I study the
propaganda,
data.
man. It's Russian propaganda. Are you trying to say that people who report pro-Ukrainian stuff get better algorithm
No. I'm not sure.
exposure than
So
you?
for example, not sure because there is a lot of ways you can game the algorithm. So the thing is that I don't. So
Mm.
so like for pro Ukrainian channels, let's say the Ukrainian government decided to promote all pro Ukrainian channels.
Yeah.
They can actually just have a bot. They can create bots and whatever,
Mhm.
and then they can create the simulation of a lot of traffic going to the channel and
Yeah.
watching all the videos, and they can make
That's
it look as natural as possible. You can never know.
with the
YouTube can never
Twitter
know.
with the Twitter files and all the stuff that's going on there since Musk took
Anything can
over,
happen.
we can only imagine what goes on at YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's a difference is that because I'm Singaporean,
Hmm.
so so I'm from Singapore. That makes it a bit harder to queue off the channel because uh, you do not really want to offend Singapore per se because Singapore is by right is an ally. So there is certain perhaps restraint to totally killing the entire channel.
Hmm.
Maybe.
Hmm.
So because my reporting is neutral, but the thing is, to a pro-Ukrainian,
Neutral is
there
very
must be
bad
no
sometimes.
there
Yeah.
must be no Russian information. That means there's no information can come from Russia.
Sources.
Any
Yeah,
information
yeah,
coming
yeah.
from Russia is no, it's fake information to them, and that is ridiculous. That's nonsensical, because I personally witnessed so much misinformation from the Ukrainian side.
Yep.
Snake Island is the best example. The first week, the first few days, first day of war or second day of war, the Ukrainian government say everyone on Snake Island is dead. Everyone. They say the FU to the Russian warship, and the Russian bombard the entire island. Everyone is dead. 1 week later, we saw them disembark in Crimea, and then one of them even got the hero medal, the medal of hero for Ukraine.
Yeah.
One of the guys, the one that said the FU to the Russian warship. Did they ever apologize for the fake information? They don't.
I
They
don't think
literally
so.
put out fake information, and for me, that's a no. And especially when I come into the war, like I said, no, I didn't want Russia to have a quick victory. Basically, I'm pro-Ukrainian in the beginning, in that sense, and I immediately, within 1 week, I lost trust in the Ukrainian side. I cannot, because I'm covering the war and I realize that they are only confusing the entire picture, and based on principle alone, I cannot side it with them.
You
Neither
know,
do I really side with Russia. The thing is, but no, I cannot be pro-Ukrainian, because this is not a behavior that is worthy of victimhood. You're not a victim in that sense.
yeah.
So 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 no, that's why a lot of people think that I'm pro-Russian, but I'm not. To me, to me, uh, I really, there's no meaning in supporting Russia for me, per se. Like, it's a war that's way too far away from me, and to me, Russia is a superpower. It's not likely to lose the war. You can drag on the war for a very long time, but
Yeah.
you're not going to collapse Russia, because Russia is not the Soviet Union. It's a different thing. Soviet Union is a lot of countries being together. Russia is just one country, even though it's a federation. It's not the individual states are not countries. They don't have their own military. They can't
Yeah.
just fracture the whole of Russia. It's just different thing. So to expect Russia to collapse, very unlikely. Yeah, DPA headline maps. I haven't updated for a very long time.
I know,
And
I know. I was gonna bring it up because you used to do it more or less weekly, I think, for
yeah, I tried.
the first
The
month and a
the
half
problem
or
is the
two.
Ukraine war.
Yeah.
So the problem is the Ukraine war, because the Ukraine war takes up so much time. So sometimes by the time I'm done with the Ukraine map, I'm so tired. Like, because to map all this information means I have to read. I don't really have much time to read. So
So once
nowadays,
let me put it to you this way: once you get enough revenue to hire somebody to do the Ukraine war mapping side,
I'm not
how
sure.
would you
I'm
be
not sure
able
if I
to
tell people to do it.
would you
Yeah,
be able to
maybe
teach them? Do you think?
I think it would be hard. It's easier for them to tell them to map all these headlines,
Mm-hmm.
probably. Then I so they so for example, I will conceptualize that I get someone to do the headlines. They map the news into the map, and then when I want to do a report, I can go in and can go through. Maybe I'll give them a topic, for example, map everything that is energy crisis related or food crisis related. Then it's much easier, because it's all under one folder within the map. Then I can go through everything is by data or by topic,
Yep.
which is how I arrange it. So it's easier for me to do a report on it. That could be one way. So the 2023 is more of, like, trying to figure out this process. How do I bring in more people into the team? And I want to pay them. I don't really like to ask people to do free work, which is why, because I don't like to people to tell me to do free work as well. So I want to pay people for it. Yeah,
Yep.
because I really don't have time to do free things for people. Like, I'm so busy. So I don't want people to do things for me and then I don't pay them. Ideally, I don't really want that. So
Yep.
everything should be paid for. Yeah, so that's what I try to do. But how do I get this all done? I'm not exactly sure yet. I'm still trying to figure out. So 2023 is the plan for DPA is try to get it to mostly self-run. To know there's a process to put in, there's team members, so they know we can generate content and articles and whatever on its own. So even if I go on holiday, there's still content being created.
Yeah.
That would be the best. But whether I can get there, I have no idea. I just try my best.
Tell us about these maps with the lines.
Oh, okay. So no, I call it the arrow maps. So it's a very weird thing though, the arrow maps. So these maps, I draw the arrows, trying to to explain where the fighting is, how it's going, and then what could happen. Because when I used only the mouse arrow, when I explained in the sit rep on the summary, it's much harder to follow. It's much harder to follow the mouse. So I decided that okay, I'm going to use Photoshop and I start to draw the arrows so that it's much clearer. And somehow, almost every like 80% of this kind of video, the arrow videos, are doing much better than the summaries. Like
So
people just
maybe
prefer the arrows.
maybe people care about your opinion more, cause or your expectations or predictions, more than the updates of regular stuff.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm not sure, because the thing is when you look at the summary, so we have to put into the military terms. Those are all situation reports. So basically, I'm just reporting what is the situation now. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all the reports are. They are just the situation. The situation now. It doesn't really include what happened in the past, what's going to happen in the future, or what they are planning to do. What they're planning to do is also part of the information, but it's like you cannot really see past very far away. So those are sit reps. Militarily, if you're in the military, that's exactly how you will look like as well. The way how I report is largely how a military sit rep is going to look like. So because if let's say you're in the military and you're going to receive intelligence report on a daily basis or every few days, you know what's happening. So which is why situation reports works only if you are watching it very frequently, like on the daily basis or every few days. If not, you'll get lost.
Yeah.
So the arrow maps help in the sense that it sums up what might happen for the next few days to few weeks to even few months. And I think that is why people like it, because it's easier to understand why certain thing is happening. Because I try to explain why the Russians must attack this place, or why the Ukrainians must attack this place, why the Ukrainians are defending this location. Why is it so vital that this position must hold? So I think this is what people appreciate. I guess. I think I wish I can do more.
We're on what day now? What day of the special military operation?
331, right? I think the current one.
So like 30-ish days from the 1 year anniversary.
314. Sorry, the current
314.
314 now. Yeah,
so about two months to the anniversary, huh?
Yeah, around 1.5 months. So it's like that means I have been covering this war for 300 over days straight. So it's unimaginable. I never expected this war to last this long. Like for me, I never even thought about the end of the war. I just simply I just want to know what's happening, and knowing mainstream media, they will not tell me the truth. So I just started mapping myself.
Yeah.
The whole initiative was because I was curious myself what exactly is happening, and it just turned out that it become a phenomenon that people also likes. So good. Then I get to know what's happening, and because since I know it, I mapped it already. I might as well share it. So that was how I thought about it. And if I can make money out of it, that's even better. Build something that is helpful for everyone. Because I'm personally, I can't stand any mainstream media, talking rubbish, and I wish that there's an alternative.
After a year, what is your prognosis for the next, or expectation for the next, let's say, 3 months to a year? Do you think
for the Ukraine war?
Yeah.
The Russians will likely to do a major push offensive Whether is it from the northern front again, they reopen the Chernihiv, Sumy, Kiev fronts, I have no idea. Or will they go for Lvov or Lviv? I have no idea, because starting a new front have its own danger uh, for the Russians. So I don't think they have enough troops to do the northern front. They can try, because the Ukrainians are stretched as well. I mean, both sides is stretched. So to start the northern front is not exactly not doable. It's a gamble, but it is a calculated gamble. But this, if you ask me to higher the chance of success, then they need to do another mobilization at least in order to do a northern front, so that they can sustain the offensive in the northern front. Otherwise, the Russians is likely to continue to put in more forces and push. But with the missile strike that happened at Makiivka, where they have the HIMARS taking out like 300, 400 soldiers in a single building, that also put doubts on whether the Russians have the kind of command and control and discipline to succeed in a major offensive. Because now what we see, yes, it's still pretty major. The fighting is across a very long front, but it is not what we imagine the Soviet type of offensive looks like. And with that kind of command and control, where they can't even stop soldiers from having handphones, it put into a lot of question whether the Russians can even pull off a major offensive that reminiscence of World War II. So,
And what do you think? What do you think
uh,
of the changes that Surovikin has brought to the battlefield?
oh, it's good. I think it's a lot more sensible. Like, to hold a so for I always have a problem with, right from the beginning, why the Russians push into Mykolaiv, but they don't take the city. That was always a problem that I don't understand, because if you don't capture the city, you cannot hold the region, and you cannot hold the entire region, and that's exactly what happened. They did not conquer Mykolaiv city, and they lost the entire of Mykolaiv region. So no, and then after that they retreated from Mykolaiv region, and then and they were holding a Kherson north of the Dnieper River. They hold a Kherson line, which they eventually redrawn from. There's also a line that they cannot hold, because they did not push further into Khyber Ray, or to link up to capture the entire northern bank all the way to Zaporizhia city. All these are like incomprehensible strategic uh, decisions, which is it's not just me. Even the pro-Russian analysts, or even any analyst who like military stuff, will not be able to understand, because you're holding a line that you cannot hold. And Surovikin just like, we're going to give up all this line that we are not going to do anything with. We're just going to hold a line along the river that we can actually confidently hold. And I think that is a wise decision. It is not a popular or easy decision. A lot of people die trying to defend that line, but to give up the line helps to reduce the number of unnecessary death holding an impossible line. Because the Russians holding that line north of the Dnieper River, along just south of Khyber and along the other river down to Mykolaiv region, that is a very hard to defend line. You have to continue to put troops across the Dnieper River to hold the line.
Yep.
And the bridges was all destroyed by the HIMARS strikes, and so these are all good decisions. Withdrawal from the Kharkiv region is another one, because if you're not going to capture and surround Kharkiv city, don't be there. Just don't be there. Which is why
Yeah.
they withdrawn to the east of the Oskil River, but then they cannot even hold that line, because they were so underpowered. Then they don't have enough troops. They are
Yep.
now being pushed to the Zerobets River. So, and you can also see how the Russians always now depend purely on the rivers to act as a defense line. So that's an improvement as compared to what they used to do. Like, what's the point of capturing Izium if you're going to give up on Izium? That is a kind of a situation, very weird situation, where the Russian military is operating on before Surovikin came. Like, when they captured Izium, I thought that, whoa, God, Russia is going to push south, capture there's a line of villages south of Izium, and from there you can actually do encirclement of Slovians or Kramatorsk. Then no, they just stuck in the south of Izium for like
Yeah.
months, and nobody can understand why the hell are you doing that?
I think
And
I
it
think
seems
that
like
was
there's a
this. I think that was the same general. I hesitate to say general. It could have been like a colonel or something of the Central Military District, if I'm not mistaken, who was to blame for both that stalling and the pullout out of the Kharkiv Oblast earlier, basically.
so it's just weird. It's just like so I don't really like to predict what is to come because the Russians have proved to be unpredictable, and it's
Hmm.
not because they are unpredictable because they are so smart. They are unpredictable because they are making so many weird decisions that nobody can understand. For example, when they're surrounding Kharkiv,
Yeah.
they are holding a very short line when you're surrounding the east, west, and north side of Kharkiv. Then they withdraw backwards, and then cause the front line to be much more longer, and then
Yeah.
becomes much more difficult to defend. Right, when you're smaller, it's much easier to defend. But then they put back, then they create a big problem for themselves. The only saving grace is that the Ukrainians do not dare to invade into Russian land directly. They do not dare to invade into Russia itself. They do send sabotage like commando raids into Russia, but it's not an outright offensive. They don't dare
Hmm.
to capture any Russian villages. That is the only thing that is so-called saving Russia from much more humiliation because they withdraw from Kharkiv and then they hide behind their border, and then they know that the Ukrainians will not come. So so that is the only thing that is really helping Russia. If not, that it will actually looks even more ugly because the generals or command seems to be not really that. Uh, at least they are not talking to each other. Perhaps they are
Hmm.
not making very good decisions. At least from the strategic point of view, it's just weird. Like nobody can understand what the hell is happening. Yeah, emotional damage for the pro-Russian guys watching this.
There's always emotional damage to go around to both
Yeah,
sides,
emotional damage is
and
very
and
normal.
and the only proper remedy is cope.
Yeah,
Good DPA approved cope.
drink more Coke,
So
Coca-Cola.
uh, one of the things you did as the year was wrapping up, which I thought was very funny and entertaining for your subscribers, is you did a Person of the Year thing,
Yeah,
and amongst
the community tab.
your 50,
You go to the
60 community.
community tab. Yeah,
All right.
then you scroll down. You eventually reach there.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of scrolling. Hold on. I have another tab here open. On your website, there you go.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
so you had she, Volodymyr, Vladimir, and Elon as the
Yeah.
options. If you can't tell, I'm wrapping this video up because we've been going for about an hour and 10 minutes, and I think people have had enough of both you and me. So, at least in one sitting, we'll end with Person of the Year. So, the final tally, uh, Person of the Year, according to your subscribers, was Putin. Yeah.
And it's not just my subscribers. It's so the voting was held across 9 different platforms where that DPA have presence on. I think it's 9. There's on LinkedIn, Facebook. There's a coffee, Patreon. You can scroll up. There's a table. Yeah, the table. So coffee, Patreon, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Discord, Telegram, and YouTube. And Twitter is the only one that is really can go much more beyond the my community,
Hmm.
where most of the public can really vote on. Because
Yeah.
this is why just now when you were asking about Telegram and difference from Twitter.
Hmm.
Twitter you can actually reach the public, whereas Telegram you can't. Telegram you're only talking to your own followers.
Yeah.
So this Twitter was the major factor to help Zelensky even close the gap, because a lot of people just vote Putin, and I was actually rallying uh, people, even the NAFOs, the people who's pro-Ukrainians, I was like triggering them, get them to vote for Zelensky so that they make it a closer fight. If not, it's just going to be a clear Putin victory.
Mm-hmm.
And it was they made it much more competitive. They won the Twitter votes, but after that, it seems like that's the most that they can push. Only 4,000 votes. So that's the
people get sensitive. People get sensitive when you talk about voting, generally in real life.
Yeah. I tried to get the Elon supporters to vote for Elon as well on Twitter. No, it's Elon's platform anyway.
I don't know.
It failed. It failed horribly.
I don't know about Elon. I was thinking about voting for Xi, but in the end I voted for Putin.
Yeah. So this was a fun thing. I think I have been thinking about the person of the year for like the whole year. I have been thinking about it like since April or even earlier than that. I always thought about doing this. It's just nice that by the end of the year I actually have a community, so which then I can actually do this voting. So the top 15, because before this voting there was a nomination phase. So the top 15 nominated actually is now part of the banners, which is these 15 people on top, the top banner. Yeah, these are the top 15 most nominated people. Weirdly enough, inside all these politicians and major people, there is actually Patrick Lancaster as well. This one is not. This one I haven't updated yet.
Oh, this is an
one
old
at the
one?
bottom is the old one. This is the old one. Maybe I just leave it as this for now. So I used to put all the major figures in Asian politics. So now the most right one.
Oh yeah, I see his face. Like, share, subscribe. Look, dead body. Like, share, subscribe. Dead body. Look, like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to donate.
Share, subscribe.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. But yeah, he definitely has a big following. I see you got some quotes here. All right, Wyatt.
Yeah.
We'll call it a day. Thank you for joining the Working Brother for a little talk. It has been amazing.
Hosting me.
It has been amazing. Yeah. You're a wealth of information. Thank you for everything you do, for all the updates. It's been a real pleasure to find out how you do it and to get some of your opinions behind the scenes. Have a good
on your side as well. You went to Donbass itself. That is admirable. And also, and for those that are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to his channel.
Thank you, Wyatt. I went. I'll discuss it in other videos, but it was definitely a learning experience. Definitely, something that changes you. Definitely. In any case, thank you, Wyatt, for stopping by. It's been a pleasure. It's been informative. Have a great night or afternoon. I'm not sure what it is where you are.
It's almost 12 midnight now, like 1 minute to midnight.
All right, then good night, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Nice quote.